TriCaster is more than a traditional video mixer. It allows you to have the look of a very large studio from a very small production space. It also features the ability to create layered video effects that can be accessed like any other input on the switcher. All these effects are accomplished by using Livematte to remove a background color and an ME or mix effects bus to layer this key within other layers or merge it into a virtual set. In this video, we will cover setting up Livematte. Keying an input gives you the ability to remove a background color and replace it with another background. Now in the TriCaster, we do this with Livematte, and every input on the switcher has its own Livematte with independent controls. Removing the background for replacement is referred to as pulling a key, but before we get into the controls for pulling a key, let's talk about the environment. There are a few things you can do to improve the quality of the key that you pull. First, make sure to use the best video resolution and format from the camera you have. High definition will always look better and pull a better key over standard definition. Many cameras will output several formats, including composite in standard definition and component in standard and high definition. For this TriCaster, the best video format is SDI, then component, then YC, then composite. Make sure to manually white balance the camera. Turn off auto white balance, auto gain control, and autofocus, and control these things manually if possible. Make sure the on-camera talent is not wearing the background color. Even eye color can be an issue here. The keyer can key any color. The most common colors to use are chroma green and chroma blue. These colors are used as they are the farthest away from skin tone. Backgrounds can be painted walls, colored cloths hung on a rack, or a pop-up green screen or blue screen. There are cloth green and blue screens available online, and if you are using cloth, you might want to invest in a bottle or can of wrinkle remover from your local grocery store in the laundry aisle. Wrinkles and creases and folds can cause shadows on the backdrop, and this is not desirable. There's also chroma paint available for a wall in your studio if you have the space. Do a search online for chroma key paint. It is recommended that you use chroma paint, not just green or blue. Chroma paint has a more saturated color and works better. Pop-up green screens are available at most photography stores. There are also companies that specialize in green screen environments if you want a more professional setup. Lighting is important when trying to pull a good key. The trick here is even light on the backdrop. Even light is better than bright light. You want soft light on the backdrop to avoid hot spots. The best situation is to light the backdrop separately from the talent. Light the backdrop evenly to avoid hot spots. Now move the talent away from the backdrop to avoid shadows from the lights on the talent. Light the talent to avoid shadows on the backdrop. Now in some situations, you have to light the backdrop and the talent with the same lights. The same rules do apply. Shine even light on the backdrop and the talent. Try to avoid shadows, but sometimes you can't if you only have a light or two. The Livematte keyer in the TriCaster is great and will remove most shadows. It will work in situations that other keyers simply will not, but there are limits. Now let's pull the key with Livematte. Coming in input 1, we have green screen shot. If you want to follow along and you don't have a live green screen input, you can load one of the supplied green screen clips into the DDR and use the DDR as the live input. To do this, click Add on DDR1 and click on New Tech. Scroll down and select the Kiki 1 Center green screen clip and click OK. To access Livematte, click on the gear for the input you are using as the source. Click on the Livematte tab. The first thing you need to do is pick the color that you wish to remove. Left-click on the eyedropper and hold the mouse button down. Now drag the cursor over the background color. Notice you can see the color swatch changing as you drag over the colors in the interface. When you are over the green, let go to select it. Livematte will turn itself on and the green will disappear. By default, the input has a black background. This may not be the best thing for setting up a key, especially if the talent is wearing black. There is a way to make it easier to see the key you are pulling. Right-click on the monitor for the green screen source. Select Checkerboard from the overlay area of the menu. Now, as the green is removed, you see a checkerboard pattern behind the talent. This makes it easier to see the transparency and edges on the object that's being keyed. If you want to see a bigger version, right-click on the preview monitor and make it the green screen source. Notice that the monitor is now labeled as the source input. Right-click again and turn on checkerboard. This gives you a larger version of the source being keyed. Go back to the Livematte controls for the source input by clicking on the gear for it. The two controls under the color picker allow you to adjust the key. Tolerance allows you to adjust the range of color picked being removed. More tolerance means a wider range of green hues. Smoothing tries to smooth out the edges on the key. Start out by setting both tolerance and smoothing to 0. Start with tolerance and remove the background. Now, bring up smoothing to smooth out the edges of the talent. This may bring back some of the background. Now, add more tolerance. Go back and forth with these controls and dial in the key. Also, have the talent move and turn left and right, as these moves might change the lighting and affect the key. There may be times where the entire background is not filled with the key color, and maybe there are items in the shot that are not being keyed and need to be removed. Each set of Livematte controls also includes crop. The crop controls are found under the Input Settings tab. The crop controls allow you to draw a hard line in from the left, right, top, or bottom and remove anything from the input that's not being keyed. So as you can see, we have the edges of the stand-up shot that are not covered by the green screen. These can easily be removed by using crop. Bring in the crop line from the left and the right until the unkeyed edges are removed. This is great if you are working in confined spaces with small green screens. Once an input has been keyed, you can see this right on the interface. Notice the input monitor has a green line under it. This indicates Livematte is in use for this input. A blue line indicates that crop is also in use. There is also a yellow line that indicates the proc amp is active for that input. Once you have the keys looking good, remember to make the preview monitor back into the preview monitor by right-clicking on it and selecting Preview from the output area of the menu. The preview monitor should now be labeled Preview.